Welcome to the weekly review in Rev-Up. As Adam Mancini famously says, your executions should always be pre-planned, and that's what we do. So here's what's ahead this week. I'll go over the setups I'm anticipating, the news that could move the market, and I'll be fully transparent about my account balances and progress. Make sure you stick around till the end.
Traders, hey, hello, how are you? This is Rev-Up. I go by SageFT Online. I am the founder and creator of the live trading desk, SageFT, and SageFT.com. All of my socials are _SageFT. All right, let's go ahead and get into the review and Rev-Up for Sunday night, 3/16/25. Happy St. Patrick's Day tomorrow for those of you that celebrate. I know that most people at least have a green beer or something of the rather. All right, so we came in, if we go back and look at the daily, and we have to look at both of these because they're both important. Here's where we were last Friday. Now, I knew there was a very small chance, if you go back and watch last week's review and Rev-Up, what you're going to find is I was not confident that this was a push higher. Okay. Now, we said it could be because we have the low to a high to high trend line could become plausible support. We have this high volume bar. Okay. We have this high volume bar, right? So now we're kind of marking it out. Make sure I'm seeing that right. Yep. And so what we're doing is we're kind of marking the lay of the land. What could happen? Do we slide down? If we slide down, do we go down further? Where do we go? What do we do? Okay. So now let's go to the 4-hour chart, and you can see that we just started to slide, and then we kind of slowed down a little bit. We tested, and now we're bouncing back up. Okay, so now let's go to the 15-minute chart. So what I was looking at, if we just go back here, what I was looking at was if we fail again, now that we're into this bracket, how long does this bracket hold, and what do they do with each side of liquidity, right? And this is what I want to show everyone here. Okay, so if you look, every time it goes up and then down, it goes a little bit further up and then down, up and then down, up and then down. Okay, all right. Now, these are called draws on liquidity. These are what we have mapped out. So the first one was you have the order block and a fair value gap right next to it. Okay, this is 8 a.m. March 11th. Now, we marked this out before it came back up. When we were here, we were talking about it moving back up into this level. Okay, so now why is that significant? Here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Because what we're watching for is now that we know it's moving sideways, what do they do when we start to get the CPI? Okay, draw on liquidity, sweep, test of the order block, hold. Okay, we don't know anything. Okay, all right, and you can see how it just chatters along prior. You could say support and resistance, supply and demand. You could say buy side lick, sell side lick. Do they get it? Do they not? Yes and no, yes and no. Okay, great. Now let's go back to the daily chart. Let's figure out, well, what are they doing? All right, so the first thing that has to happen is if we move this over just a little bit, okay, so right here, it goes, oh no, and it just goes right through, right, if we go to the next bar, okay, it goes right through what we considered to be a high-to-high trend line that could plausibly be support. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, so how did we play it? Well, on the 4-hour and the 15-minute chart, okay, I trade the 15-minute chart, I enter on the 2-minute. What I'm watching for is I want to trade on the edges, right? So once I started to see this, it was like, oh, okay, I've seen this before. Let's see if they get it going. And they did. But all we did was use the KISS chart, right? And so if you want more information about the KISS chart, just go to our YouTube and search KISS chart. Lots of videos on it. I talk about it all the time. It's just a very simple moving average fan, which we look at it in terms of context, right? And so if we just look, what we were doing was anytime it was moving in the downward momentum, based upon how we have it set up, as our bread and butter, or analog, as we would call it. Every time we came back to the 200 simple and the 15-minute chart, it was sell. But we were able to sell from it. We were able to buy to it. Okay, until we flipped on Friday and we bought away from it for the first time in a long time. All right. Now that we've done the review, right? And so when we let's look at the 2-minute chart for just a second here, because what I want to do is I want to kind of look into how did we play it? Okay. The way that we played it. Now this is going to sound like a shocker. I'm just kidding. The way that we played it was just like we did the 15-minute chart. We waited for it to go back into position 1, then we took the longs on Friday. As it was moving lower, we were waiting for it to go back into position 1, and then we'd take the shorts. You didn't need to take the counter trend trades. There were so many sells on the 2-minute chart, and that until we got into, and let me bring the 15-minute back up so you can see it. Until we got into the dip territory right below prior swing, okay, which was 553375. Once it started to push back up there, we had to be really careful. Got it all drawn out, right? They got the order block. They're testing the order block. Okay, now look, now they test it back, and now they're like, oh, thank you. Right. So we played it perfectly. Everybody did really, really well. The news events were pretty crazy. This was a 50.30 second bar, a 50.30 second bar, and then they sold it 100 points from there. All right, so now that is a main thing that you're looking at, right? So this bar, okay, which was 24 to 75. Okay, this bar is critical. 56.23 is the low, and 56.75 is the high. Those are the levels that we're watching if we start to move forward. So did we get to them? Well, they tested it here. Fail. Didn't get to it. Fail. And now we're back through it, and we're right at it. Now, brings us to where are we at this week? Let's take a look in this next coming week. All right, so every Friday there's been a buyer. Okay, Friday, I believe Friday, and so every Friday they were buying it. Right. So now the question is, do they buy it again? All right, now let's take a look at it. First of all, we don't know the answer. What we can do is we can figure out, an educated thought, a hypothesis or thesis, and we're going to prove or disprove, and it will prove or disprove itself next week. All right. So the first thing we're going to look at is I have these 2 white lines here. These 2 white lines are on the NQ. Right. Well, but we trade the ES. So who cares? Me. Because what we have to watch for is look at the small divergence in this, what we have right here. Okay. Fix this. And so what I was watching was what happens when we go below here. Okay, so we closed at the low, and then they rallied at 2%, 2.04%. Okay, on the NQ, they rallied at 2.4%. All right, so now, as we move forward, we're still watching these levels. Does this stay above here? Okay, look at the divergence between here and here. We're watching these levels right here. All right, so now, what can we tell about this? All right, so now I want to show you guys something, and I think it's pretty cool that he has it drawn just like I do, but completely different, but in the same manner. What I want to do now is I want to bring in something that Mancini posted this morning. Okay, all right. Now, so what I want to show you is, notice he has the same line. And I do believe this is the 45-minute chart. So what I want you to watch is look at how his target is down here. All right, so now look. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, and he's thinking projection, push up into prior swing low, and then push down. Okay, but look at his target, 5441. Watch this. Now mine's a little bit different, right? But look, it was the same narrative, right? I'm not saying that I'm better than Mancini. I'm not saying I'm as good as Mancini. Here's what I'm saying is it's a common practice for you to have a high-to-high trend line, breakthrough, test, fail. That extended high-to-high trend line becomes support. So what we're watching as we come into the week is, we'll get into the news here in just a second, is do we push back into this high volume bar or not? It's very simple. If we do, okay, we push back up in here, then we're testing this one, This one, okay, which is 5744, 5884. Do we make it there or not? Do we close above this swing? Do we close above here? These are the levels that I'm watching. All right, so now 4 hour looks, now this is going to look familiar. All right, so folks, this would be a removal, right? If we were to put this in removal terms, and here's the projection, that lines right up into this high volume node here, right? Isn't that kind of amazing how that works, right? We have to get through the CPI sweep first, right here, right? So that's where we're at. Look, look, we're right there. Huh? Imagine that. Right, so now we're in a major area. Either it fails here or it pushes through. If it fails, we're watching to see what happens next, right? Because if you remember, we have it drawn at 20% or 22% loss. Okay, and that would be roughly 4865. Okay, that would be double where we were at when I drew this. All right, so let's take a look at what is the news. All right, so next week we're jam-packed, okay? University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment, and okay. Now, which was Friday, coming into Monday, we've got core retail sales. Okay, great. Okay, but now, Wednesday, 2 p.m., Fed funds. FOMC announcement, okay, 2:30 press conference, okay. Thursday, unemployment claims, all right, and then we have a Fed speaker on Friday. So all the news is going to be Monday and Wednesday afternoon. Monday and Wednesday afternoon. We're going to wait for the news event to come out, and we're going to wait for our pattern to repeat, and we're going to push the button. I want everyone to say this out loud while you're sitting here. Ready? I push the button. I push the button. I push the button. I push the button. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to kind of bring in what is Rev doing. Okay, let me show you what I'm doing here, right? So you guys can all see this. All right, so this is my little small bank challenge. Okay, what I'm doing now, I don't know how to navigate through this site, so it's going to be really funny. Okay, so if we go right to, where does it go to? Okay, so on the 13th, is that? Yeah, the balance on the 13th or the 11th was $207.97. Okay, now I put $200 in it, right? This is the account that I usually have data fees come out of, right? Okay, so, but that's why it's called small bank, right? Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to show you where we went with this, right? So we gyrated around, okay, down $18, okay, up $20. Up 15, okay, down $35, right? Okay, now watch this though, right? So once I pulled my keister off my shoulders, right? Okay, what happened was I push the button. All right, so now that I push the button, watch this. Now you're probably thinking, oh, it's just $185. Okay, but watch this. Okay, 212. Didn't trade that day. Watch this. 272, 314, 327, 409, okay, and 473. Okay, from $184. Okay, so I'm up $290. Am I saying that right? Okay, I'm up $290 on $184. All right, and you're probably thinking, oh, okay, great. All right. Okay, now let's put that in percentage terms. Okay, now the reason I'm showing you this is I'm showing everyone that let's see. Okay, what I'm doing is I have the main account, okay, and the copier accounts are plentiful. All right, so now I got 5 Apex. They're all different sizes, but just to show you, just to show everyone. Okay, 19 days on this one, 10, 8, 1, 1. All right, so now look at what we have going on here. The only reason this one says 8 is I was waiting for it to reset because full disclosure, as I was trying this challenge that I'm now sharing with you, I had to reset $200 in my account twice. No, it was like 140 in my account twice, right? And so as I'm doing that, I'm also blowing these accounts, right? So I had to reset these twice. So full disclosure, right? I've paid for 28 either brand new accounts or resets, right? Because yeah, I screwed up a couple times and it costed me several accounts because there's a little bit of different way to trade these things, right? But you can clearly see that we are solvent on all of them. All right. I also have my funded futures. I have Take Profit Trader. I have Tradeify, and I have just added Elite Trader Funding. Now, what I'm doing is one of these because it was $26. Now, check this out. You have 14 days to make $6,000. Okay, minimum of 5 trading days. Now, they're $75 right now. Okay, the link to this will be put in the description. Okay, let me give you the direction of where we're moving in terms of the stream here. Okay, so now let me see if this works. The way that we're going to shift the dynamic of the stream is entertainment will be the last thing that we do. Disruptions will become minimal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the button. So then it's going to be a trading stream. Okay. To learn the content, that is what you're going to do on your own time with your coach. SageFT.com to get signed up with your coach. All right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on trading. And what we're going to do is we're going to have it to where it looks like you're just looking in on a professional trader and watching what he's doing. And he's kind of explaining what he's seeing in real time. That's the approach we're going to take. This is the right trajectory because right now, my data tells me it's not parabolic. Okay, the marginal utility of the next trade is not negative. Okay, the more trades I take, the more positive EV it becomes. I know it sounds weird. It sounds like overtrading, but I'm past the overtrading part. That was a long time ago. We are now streaming for 8 hours a day from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. I'm trading the whole time. There's too many trades to take throughout the day. How do we maximize profitability? These are the things that you and your coach need to be talking about. Okay. Now, last thing. If you've had a first call or a second call with me and you're still struggling, you need to email me, sage@sageft.com. Let's get you on track. Third call, fourth call, fifth call, email me if you're still struggling. Okay. Those of you that are supposed to be doing your weekly check-ins, keep them coming. Keep them coming. All right. That's going to do it. I'll see everybody tomorrow morning live on all platforms, x.com, kick.com, facebook.com. If you want to support the stream, use the affiliate code SageFT with the main affiliates that you see on the screen and with Elite Trader. If you want to try one of those packages, the link will be directly below. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Get ready to push the button because I'm going to be ready to push the button and I'm going to push the button.